my fireside, at night below my humble roof, beside the fire I sit my lone, and think my thoughts, and dream my dreams, and listen to the windy drone. And from the bog the sobbing night comes creeping to my cottage door, and stands and whistles for the warmth that I could give it from my store. And in the wind the wild bird calls, like some lone spirit gone astray, that wanders onwards through the dark and prays for light to find a way. And storm and rain in passion strong beat fiercely on my cottage wall, as if to crush it in the bog and drown my cottage, me and all. But sure there's turf here at my side, and I can pile them on the fire, and think my thoughts, and dream my dreams, and wait until the wild ones tire. Memories. Halfway down the lane, she turned and looked at the old house. It stood bathed in the late August sun. The yellow walls glowed, and the windows, dark by contrast, seemed mournful as she was herself. Friends told her it was only bricks and mortar, and she had her memories, but the house had memories too. What tales this homestead could tell if we were to let our minds drift back in time to the happiness and sorrow that befell this humble dwelling. Her mind went back to the first time she and her husband and 2-year-old toddler walked up the laneway. It was a morning in April, and the windows were glistening as if to welcome them. Various scenes flashed through her head, the dogs running down to meet them, the echo of the corncrake drifted on the balmy spring air, and the simple garden which thrived in spite of her limitations. The old-fashioned kitchen, meals around the table, lessons in the evening, and games being played. As the children grew up and a quiet descended, one by one they emigrated to the far corners of the earth. Then came the death of her husband, and she was left alone, an old woman in an old house. There is a time in life when the past must be laid to rest and the present and future faced with hope. The moment had come, and she was now on the laneway saying goodbye to the home where her heart and soul would always be. Okay, ladies, I want to just explain to you something about the history of this place, the background. My father bought this farm in 1949. It was a public auction here in Blahy Fair, actually. And he was the highest bidder. And I came home from school. We lived just the house down the road here. And I remember the auctioneer coming into the house. And he said to my father, he says, "Paddy, did you know you were the highest bidder there?" And I think he said he didn't know. He assumed he was near it, but he wasn't sure. But anyway, I say the old man was selling, and we had bought it. It needed a lot of attention, but I studied agriculture and then I studied rural development. And every farm grant that came out, I applied for it and got it. Small farmer scheme before your time, the countryside management scheme, the FACES scheme, the environmental farming scheme. Every one of those I applied and got. I built a shed up here and I made a wee classroom out of it because I used to do nature walks for schools on the farm here. I would have maybe a primary school would come out and be a class 30 and I would talk to them, take them around the fields, what you'll be doing today, and I would talk about nature and wildlife, the bird life,
just a bit of background in history, and I would recite a bit of poetry. That was a couple of hours and was over. But it was interesting, and I would have known the teachers because I was teaching myself at the time, but I was in a secondary school. There wouldn't have been many adult groups, but there would have been a few adults would have come as well. But the children loved it, and the teachers loved it because they could have a chat and they could make a wee project out of it. And we would have visitors here from France, England, with people from India the other day, and of course I interview them all as they come in and see what I can learn from them. But I was always fascinated by the environment, and I always felt that health, well, my own background tied me into this, the health and the therapeutic value of the environment. If you can tie those two together, you're well on the way to leading a healthy lifestyle. That's my personal view. You know, the health benefits of honey, comb honey, and whenever I started to do research on that, this is when I was doing my postgrad in health education, I found that I just couldn't believe the health benefits of comb honey. It's the answer to every health problem, in my opinion. But when I started to investigate it and read, and then I've written about it, it's invaluable. If the person that takes honey every day, and I keep telling people this story, and you know this, Hugh, honey, I've been taking honey for 40 years, and I'm 81 years of age.
The Pauper's Drive. There's an old one-horse hearse in a steady round trot. As the pauper to the church he is taken. The road it is rough, and the hearse has no springs, and sad is the song which the old driver sings. Oh, where are the mourners? Alas, they are none. He has left not a friend in the world, now he's gone. Not a tear in the eye of child, woman or man, to the grave with his body, as fast as you can. With the jolting and creaking, and splashing and din, the whip how it cracks, and the wheels how they spin. The dirt right and left o'er hedges are hurled. The pauper at length makes a noise in the world. The beggar has gone, has made an approach to gentility kind. Now he's stretched in a coach. He's taking a drive in his carriage at last, but not for too long, as the driver goes fast. You people who stare at your brother conveyed, behold what respect to a pauper is paid. Be joyful, you think, when by death you're laid low, you've a chance to the grave, like gentility go. Life's Treasure, a short poem about life itself, and it sums up all the variety that is entailed in life. He has found riches, he has found fame, as his boot spades the turf and turns it over again. He has found friends that had been long gone, as his horse won the race when he thought it was done. Are the songbirds all singing just sweetly for him? Will his reward now be waiting when the days they get dim? Here's a man who's found peace, and one that's found gold. He's in tune with the earth as the years do unfold. His treasure's not worldly, it's all in his mind. He's a man that's contented with his daily grind.
Now, I want to tell you something about this field. Years ago, all the farm maps, the field had a name. Nowadays it's all numbers. But at the time when this was on the farm map as a name, this field was called Peter's Field. The reason it was called that, there used to be wallsteads just up on the brow of the hill here, and I remember them being there, and there's a man called Peter McKenna lived there, and Peter McKenna had 5 of a family, and every one of the family, when they turned 17, they emigrated to America. Now, I'm only assuming, I don't know the details, that this was Peter's farm. That time the field was the farm. There used to be in the old field there 5 acres. I put more into the bottom of it there. There would now be 12 acres in that field. There's only 5 acres, so I would assume that was his farm. And he maybe grew potatoes and just a few items and that, maybe vegetables. But that was the story, and I got that story from an old man lived across the fields here, and he's long gone now. He would be over 100 years of age if he was alive, and he knew the background, the history, the story. So that's the story of that field. And I say every field, you know, they would have had maybe a well field, the wheat hill, the big hill. There's a name for every field, and it was useful. It's a great way of knowing, because if you were telling some of the family, I had to put the cattle into, you just named the field, and they knew the field, knew what you were talking about. Anyway, we'll go to the top of the hill now till I show you the bog, and you see further afield.
The Weaver's Path. This is a short poem about a path down through the bogland between town lands, which was used many hundreds of years ago. A well-worn path through bogland, connecting town lands in a wetland marsh, where years ago locals carried webs of yarn to be spun into simple clothing garments. On either side of this lonely highway, heather and moorgrass, tormental and bog cotton provide scant comfort as the weary traveller shoulders his precious burden. This peaceful watery wilderness, described as covering a wet desert, lifeless and silent, save for the call of the curlew, the song of the skylark and presence of passing ravens, completes a peaceful setting amid a wasteland which has not altered in 1,000 years, and so remains a monument to those hardy souls who years ago trod the Weaver's Path. The Bulrushes. This is a short poem about a walk along a small river, or shook as I would have called it, many years ago, and I was inspired by some of the plant life that I saw there to write the piece. I walked along the river in the field just down below to see the water flowing where the tall bulrushes grow. I love to walk amongst them. They are so big and tall. They grow so high above my head and make me feel so small. They're lovely in the morning when their leaves are damp with dew. They sway to and fro in unison as the wind goes whistling through. And now I often wonder how long it is ago since the maids found baby Moses where the tall bulrushes grow. Short written piece about my work experience in County Down many years ago. It's called Workmates. In the late 60s, 9 workers in the firm I was employed by went to work on a site in County Down. It was a rural area between Rathfriland and Castlewellan. This was to last for a year, and the new surroundings and job were both a challenge and would provide much needed experience. I was 22 years old, and with a company car at my disposal, it was easy to explore the area and make many new friends. The people in the immediate area of my employment were friendly, and although I was approximately 70 miles from home, I felt at ease in the community. One of my ways of getting to know the area was to walk the roads and lanes in my free time. This meant that meeting the residents and hearing stories from them was a big part of my routine. Shortly after my arrival, I made contact with a former colleague from college days who lived in the area. We met up occasionally and visited the local hotelier, as well as attending an odd dance. During the month of July, a dancing carnival was held in the area, and my friend assured me it was essential from an educational point of view to attend as many of the festivities as possible. On Friday evening, we made arrangements to meet, and after some discussion decided to attend the dance later that night. It was a warm and clear night, and a very large crowd had turned up. The car park was full to capacity, and the roads were busy. People had obviously travelled a great distance to attend the dances in those days, and they finished about 1 o'clock People started to leave and we joined the throng on the road. My friend was providing the transport back to my vehicle, which was parked some way along the road. As we rounded the bend, we saw some vehicles parked on the verge of the road near a small bridge. We stopped and spoke to some people at the scene. After a few moments, one of my onlookers came up to me and suggested I go to the scene, since he thought I knew one of the occupants of a car which had crashed into the bridge. There were 3 people in the car. One was dead, the second died in the ambulance en route to Daisy Hill Hospital in Newry. The third one was a workmate of my own, and he was badly injured. The ambulance staff were at the scene quickly, and I was asked to accompany the injured man to the hospital. It was a sobering experience, as I had to contact the injured man's parents on arrival at the hospital. The shock and sudden deaths of the 2 young men were in stark contrast to the earlier activities of the night, and has remained with me all down through the years.
Yes, if you were, as I explained to you, if you're looking down the farmyards in the centre, then you have the ground, and then you have the bog runs right round.
Project if all, all the ditches got dammed and.
Well, it wouldn't be difficult to do here because actually there's little or no drainage. There's a wee bit from see the tree down here.
Yeah.
There's a that's pretty close there. I think that would be in near Greenan Crossroads there. You know the road between Clady and call it up for Clady and Mahara.
A secret place. A row of trees. A quiet lane. No earthly sound. A secret place. A flock of birds. A blue-grey sky. No human foe. A secret place. An empty house. A rusty gate. No light to show. A secret place. A fleeting glance. A warm embrace. 2 lovers share a secret place.
Much of my own on it. I thought it was good stuff.
it.